Most people call it the giant golf ball. And honestly, that's fair. It's a massive silver sphere sitting at the entrance of EPCOT, and it does look exactly like a golf ball. But here's what most guests never think about. That structure is 180 feet tall, weighs 16 million pounds, and was the first large-scale complete geodesic sphere ever built anywhere in the world. Nobody had done this before. Disney and a team of MIT engineers had to figure it out from scratch. And the ride inside it is hiding something most guests ride right past without ever noticing. Hey everyone, I'm Dan and welcome to Disney Decoded. Today we're decoding Spaceship Earth, the building and the attraction inside it. When Disney decided EPCOT needed a central icon the way Magic Kingdom had Cinderella Castle, they had a problem. A castle didn't fit. EPCOT was supposed to be about technology, science, and the future.
Our experimental prototype city of tomorrow. We call it EPCOT.
They needed something that looked like no theme park had ever looked before. The answer was a geodesic sphere. Not a dome, a complete sphere. And that distinction matters because while geodesic domes had previously been constructed, Spaceship Earth was the first large-scale complete geodesic sphere ever built. Nobody had engineering data for this. Because a complete geodesic sphere had never been built on this scale, Disney had to hire MIT to conduct wind tunnel studies on a scale model. They needed to determine the pressure coefficients and figure out exactly how the wind pressure would behave underneath the sphere, right where guests would be walking. They literally had to make sure a sudden gust wouldn't knock people over as they entered the park. Construction took 26 months and about 40,000 labor hours to build. The team included structural engineers, architects, science fiction writer Ray Bradbury, who also helped write the original storyline for the attraction, and consultants from universities and the Smithsonian Institution. Workers built a sphere within a sphere configuration. An outer shell of 11,324 aluminum triangles clad in panels supported by steel space frames surrounding an inner ride structure elevated on 6 legs and an internal truss tower for stability. That's a long sentence. 6 legs are supported on pile groups that are driven up to 160 feet into Central Florida's soft earth. The foundations go deeper into the ground than most guests ever imagine. And it sits 15 feet above ground. You walk underneath it every time you enter the park without thinking about what's holding it up. You have never gotten wet standing under Spaceship Earth during a rainstorm. Think about that. Florida gets thunderstorms almost every single afternoon. A 180-foot sphere with 16 million pounds of structure above your head, and the rain never hits you. That's not an accident. Small gaps between each of the 11,000 tetrahedron panels catch the water before it can pool. It drops into a massive internal gutter system wrapped around the midpoint of the sphere. From there, the water is funneled directly through the center of the structure, down inside the 6 hollow support legs, and into the underground drains that empty straight into the World Showcase Lagoon. So, every time it rains at EPCOT, the water that falls on Spaceship Earth travels through the structure, down through the 6 support legs, underground, and eventually into the lagoon on the other side of the park. The sphere isn't just a landmark, it's a water management system. The attraction inside Spaceship Earth opened with EPCOT on October 1st, 1982. It runs on the Omni Mover system, the same continuous chain system that powers the Haunted Mansion and the Little Mermaid ride at Magic Kingdom. Guests travel through dimly lit scenes populated by audio animatronic figures depicting key milestones in communication, from the invention of writing to the printing press to early telecommunications narrated with an original score. The current version is narrated by Dame Judi Dench. The original story for Spaceship Earth was drafted by Ray Bradbury. Disney consulted university professors, museum curators, and the Smithsonian to make sure the historical scenes were accurate. The letter transcribed via hieroglyphics in the Egyptian scene was taken from an actual pharaoh's letter. But here's another detailed guess ride right past. Disney Imagineers decided to reuse some of the animatronic molds from the Hall of Presidents in the Magic Kingdom's Liberty Square. Those presidents needed new jobs after their molds were used elsewhere, so they got costumes. The Johannes Gutenberg animatronic was previously James Buchanan. His assistant was Andrew Jackson. An Egyptian priest was previously William Howard Taft. The Roman centurion was previously Zachary Taylor. You are riding through the history of human communication surrounded by former United States presidents in disguise. Teddy Roosevelt is a Roman. John Adams is a monk. They are all in there wearing different clothes and hoping you don't recognize them. Spaceship Earth is actually built as a sphere within a sphere. The inner sphere contains the actual ride, while the outer sphere acts as a protective shell about 2 feet outside the first. And despite looking like a flawless globe from any angle, Spaceship Earth is actually a bit oblong. The optical illusion of a perfect roundness is a total mathematical trick pulled off by the geometry of those 11,324 triangular panels. Your brain reads it as a uniform ball because the layout compensates for the structural distortion, completely fooling 40 years of guests. Disney built something that looks like a perfect sphere, isn't actually a perfect sphere, and has been convincing 40 years of guests otherwise every single day. That's crazy. Spaceship Earth is easy to walk past as just a landmark. The thing you take a photo of on the way into the park. But it's the first structure of its kind ever built anywhere in the world. It manages Florida's rainfall through the 6 legs holding it up. It's hiding former United States presidents in historical costumes throughout every scene. And the sphere you see is not actually a perfect sphere. It just looks like one. Next time you walk under it during a rainstorm, stay dry, and think about where that water is going. If you ever ridden Spaceship Earth, did you spot any of the presidents in disguise? Drop your best one in the comments. I'm curious how many people already knew about this. And make sure you're subscribed with notifications on, and you'll see me in the next one. Bye.